What it do, people? Pean back at you with another video with
Squirrelz.
and we are here to do our Impact Wrestling review for the episode of
July 21st.
21st.
Yeah. 2020. This year. And
Yeah.
this is something we don't normally do, but we thought it would be fun since Slammiversary was so good to recap the Impact after Slammiversary. So this is the Impact right after Slammiversary. We probably won't do this going forward, but if you like this, and if you show this video a lot of love, maybe we'll start doing it with like Impact,
NXT.
AEW, NXT, stuff like
Not
that.
Raw and SmackDown.
Not Raw and SmackDown.
No. We don't want to watch a horror show.
We used to do Raw and SmackDown back in the day. It was awful. It's a long story, but we'll try it out for Impact and AEW and NXT, the actual 3 good shows that are weekly. So if you guys like this video, comment and tell us that you want to see more videos like this, then we'll do more videos. Just let us know which company you want us to cover. If you want us to stay with Impact, if you want us to branch out and do NXT and AEW, or if you want us to try to do all 3. Now, if we try to do all 3, it'll probably just be the really good shows. We probably won't cover it on a weekly basis. But yeah. So we kick it off with an EC3 promo. It was pretty badass, honestly. And he's just basically talking about how he's been held down and how now he's going to control his narrative. And he wants you to control your narrative. So that's how we start the show. Then we jump into an X Division Championship match. A rematch from Slammiversary. Willie Mack has invoked his rematch clause. Haven't heard that in a long time.
Right?
Chris Bay, the now X Division champion.
Yep.
He is defending against the former champion, Willie Mack. What do you think of the match?
Really good match. I like, you guys know I love Chris Bay. I like Willie Mack. I like what they can do together. Good match. I thought, like I told you yesterday, I was like, damn, that's it. Like, I thought it was going to go on more. And, like, I was surprised that they have a rematch already. And it was the first match. I thought they were going to do, like, maybe in a couple weeks. But they got good chemistry. Good TV match. I ain't complaining. It's a good match.
Yeah, it was basically, like, similar to their match from Slammiversary.
Yep.
Except for it got cut down for TV time. So, I mean, I give it, if I have to rate it, it'd be a 3.5 out of 5. I understood that they had to cut it short because of TV time, so I give it a little bit of higher score than it probably deserved, but it was still really good. And Chris Bay retains.
Yeah.
Willie Mack takes the loss again, so I guess we're going to move on to somebody else for Chris Bay.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see who challenges Chris Bay for the X Division Championship next.
I think it might be Rich Swann.
I could see it being Rich Swann.
Because, like, he's getting his best friend's revenge.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Can you imagine a Rich Swann Chris Bay match?
That would be something. I'd love that. Speaking of Rich Swann, Madison Rayne and Josh Matthews begin to recap Eric Young injuring Rich Swann.
Yeah.
We go to a Good Brothers promo. Basic Good Brothers shtick.
Talking Shop Mania.
Yeah, they talk about Talking Shop Mania. Anderson makes fun of Scott Hall. Well, not makes fun of Scott Hall.
Yeah.
He does like the hey yo thing.
I've always wanted to say
It was more
that.
like he was paying homage. It wasn't. He wasn't making fun of him. He says that Gallows is jacked. They claim
the big
that
LG.
They claim that Slammiversary was the #1 trend worldwide on Twitter on Saturday because of them. And Anderson calls himself the best wrestler in the world. Like I said, they promote their show that's happening on Fight TV in August, I believe.
Yeah.
I think it's August 1st or something. August 8th. It's something like that. Go check it out. It looks really cool if you're interested in it. They call for some beers, and instead, here come Ace Austin and Fulton.
Ah, my man.
So Ace Austin basically says, I forgive you. I would have done the same thing at Slammiversary. I don't blame you for attacking me.
Yep.
He understands that it's just business, but he has to say that Fulton is actually the best big man in the business, not Gallows. And that he's the best wrestler, not Anderson.
Yeah.
So they basically have like a pissing contest at this point. He asks for a beer to share with the Good Brothers, but instead he slaps the beer away from the Good Brothers, and then they get into a little fight, and then the Good Brothers get the best of them and stands tall.
A man slap another man's beer down. You just don't do that. Ace, come on now.
You just don't. Yeah. So it looks like we're setting up Ace Austin and Madman Fulton versus the Good Brothers.
That's gonna be lit, bro. I'm excited for that one.
I'm excited to see what Anderson and Austin can do and what Gallows and Fulton can do.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna be really good.
All that beef.
All that big meaty men slapping meat.
Oh, yeah, pal.
So then we go backstage, and there's Heath, no last name.
Just Heath. You can't use the last name.
Yeah, he's trying to get into the building, but they won't let him in.
No,
they say he's not on the list. So he calls up Rhino.
Oh my God! This segment. What? I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're kidding.
But I was like, what the hell? Rhino and Hernandez are yelling at each other because a fucking bet or something, and you see like on the corner, Heath's trying to call Rhino. What the hell was the bet? Hernandez and Rhino just bet for the shit of it.
I think it was just they were betting to see who could win the match because they were like, oh, I could beat you. No, I could beat you.
Yeah.
I literally think that was it. That was like the bet, I guess. But yeah, Rhino's too busy. So Heath calls Rhino to try to get him to let him in because security won't let Heath in. Rhino's too busy arguing with Mustache Hernandez. And so then Rhino and Hernandez go off to have a match and leave Slater just stuck. He can't get into the building. So it seems kind of like maybe they're going to set up Rhino and Heath in a feud. I'm not really sure, though. It seems like Rhino's being a bad friend, and maybe Heath's going to eventually have like a breaking point about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, whatever, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool.
I mean, it works.
Yeah.
I that's where I would put Heath if I was bringing him into the company. I wouldn't give him like a title match right now anyway.
No. We don't want that again.
So then we cut to Chris Bay, who's in the back flirting with some girls and drinking a little bit of the bubbly.
A little bit of the bubbly.
Some off-brand little bit of the bubbly.
Big a little bit. Big with the bubbly.
Then he gets interrupted by Rohit. Welcome back, Rohit, once again, in a random situation backstage.
Rohit!
Rohit offers his services to Chris Bay. He says that he could be a better manager and better friend than Johnny Swinger was. Chris Bay ain't having it, though, and just kind of waves him away. He's like, leave me alone.
Yeah.
We go to Tasha Steelz and Kiera Hogan versus Havoc in Nevaeh. Decent match.
That was cool.
Yeah. Steelz hit Havoc with a chair, and Havoc no-sold it while holding... I don't really know how to explain it. She was like holding her like she was gonna pick her up for a powerbomb, but she was just kind of holding her there. And then Steelz hits Havoc, and she's just like, ha 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 ha, and still holding her there.
Yeah, and then like fucking hits a tombstone.
Yeah, and it's like fucking whatever. But yeah, if you didn't know, you can't use a steel chair in a match. So Havoc and Nevaeh won by DQ, and then they still hit her with the tombstone. Whatever. Yeah. That was a really weird finish, and it didn't really flow well.
Yeah.
But what are you gonna do? I think it was just kind of setting up something for Havoc and Nevaeh to do.
True.
I would give it a 2.5 out of 5. So then we get a flashback of the week of Eddie Edwards winning the world title for the first time against Lashley in 2016. It wasn't the whole match, of course. It was a little bit, but it was pretty cool to set up for Eddie Edwards later.
Then we got Sami Zayn. What the
Sami
fuck?
Zayn.
Golly.
Callahan.
Yeah. And then we got Sami Callahan blaming Ken Shamrock for the loss. And then Shamrock says, I agree. And let's talk. Talk to me next week. So there's like tension. It's like, what's going to happen next?
It was a really weird promo. Because
Really
it was
was.
like, it's your fault, Shamrock. And he's like, you don't think I know this? Talk to me next week. And it's like, why next week? Like,
Yeah, you should just get a camera shot of Callahan just like,
what was the point in showing us that if you're just like, watch next week? It's like, then just do it next week.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And they go to a commercial, and of course, when they come back from commercial, they have a little excluded, like, viewer discretion is advised because like it's an RVG and Katie Forbes skit. If you don't remember that, that was something back in the day. What did they talk about? Squirrels.
So, apparently Katie Forbes is launching a new website that will be free and where she can show off more of her body because Impact has been historically sexist, so why not get even more sexist?
I mean, hell, the girl comes out and she's like fucking twerking, like.
Yeah, it's basically like similar to like how the beautiful people were back in the day where they were just like objectified. But I think it's different this time because I think Katie Forbes kind of like just wants to do that. That's like what she wants to be her gimmick. It's still a little bit Yeah. And the way Josh Matthews is, I don't know if it's like his character that they want him to be that way or if he's actually just like a piece of shit, but he kind of comes off very sexist and like always has something to say about women.
And like the worst thing is like he's doing commentary with his wife.
Yeah, well it's like it's like different because when it's with Madison, it kind of makes sense for them to be like feuding back and forth because it's like, oh, you're a girl, well, you're a guy or whatever, and they can feud about sexes that way. Yeah. But like even on Slammiversary with Don Callis, they were super sexist, like Josh Matthews and Don Callis. So it's just something that TNA/Impact or whatever you want to call them has to get better at.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Okay, then we go to Hernandez and Rhino. They're betting on this match for some reason. I don't know why it took so long to get to this point or why we had 17 promos in between their promo from earlier.
Yeah.
Rhino immediately hits the gore and wins. 0.5 out of 5, I guess. If I have to rate it a number, 0.5. I mean, if anything 0, it wasn't a match. He just hit the gore and that was it.
Squash.
I was really surprised that they destroyed Hernandez like that. Hernandez used to be like this huge fucking deal, but I guess
it was.
And Rhino was never a big deal, but whatever. The North are backstage. They're talking about how they're the greatest tag team in Impact history because they've had the longest reign in Impact history.
Yep.
But guess who has something to say about that? Their opponents for this evening, the Motor City Machine Guns. This is your main event, and what a fucking main event.
Yep.
But
a promo by the North too.
Yeah.
Like, that was.
I cannot wait for this at this point. Like as they're cutting this promo, I'm just like, damn, this is gonna be good.
Take my money.
And yeah, Ethan Page goes on to talk about how he doesn't care what the fans say. They can say that the Motor City Machine Guns are the best, all they want, but the North have proven it by being the longest reigning tag champions. The Motor City Machine Guns never did that, so how can they be the greatest tag team champions?
That's true. And like, didn't they beat their reign too to become the longest reigning? So like, it's like fuel on the fire, man. It's
so
great.
It's really looking good for the North at this point. Anyway, we get to a promo of Eddie Edwards making his way to the ring, and then we get cut to commercial. Very random and very weird. Then we come back from commercial and Deanna is backstage getting interviewed about winning the Knockouts Championship. Kylie Ray interrupts very politely. She's very excited. She's like super excited that she gets to wrestle Deanna, and Deanna just attacks her after faking out a handshake. That was rude, Deanna.
How dare you? You don't do that to Smiley Kylie.
You remember that promo from earlier with Eddie Edwards? Well, yeah, he's in the ring. He's saying how proud he is to be champion and how he's going to be a fighting champion. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, another open challenge.
Ayo.
So if there weren't enough open challenges in wrestling, Eddie Edwards is going to be having an open challenge for the Impact World Championship from now on, apparently. But before we can even get to that, he's interrupted by Eric Young. Eddie says Eric doesn't deserve anything but an ass kicking for what he did to Rich Swann, who's apparently Eddie Edwards' best friend or something. I didn't know that, but I'm not a person who watches Impact every week. Eric calls Edwards pathetic because he has no say at all in what he's going to do because Impact is his company now. It's Eric Young's company. So Eric Young's like, just because you're the champion don't mean shit. This is my company. Young says that Eddie should be thankful that he wasn't attacked and that it was Rich Swann and not him. That is the only reason that he's world champion. Edwards eventually attacks Eric and the officials break it up. So it looks like we're getting Eddie Edwards and Eric Young at some point, which I'm down for.
No, right? Oh, bro, I hope they have like an old school match, old school rules match.
I think they're probably going to go for like a street fight.
Yeah. Because like Ace Austin and Eddie Edwards in that street fight from a couple months ago, classic. These two, fucking crazy.
Next up, we have Moose being interviewed backstage and says he won't challenge Edwards because the TNA World Championship is more prestigious than the Impact World Championship. He's also asked about EC3, and he says EC3 won't be getting an invitation because he's too busy controlling his own narrative. However, Falaba, you have a match for the TNA World Championship, and it's next, apparently, or at least that's what he says. But then we go to some more promos. This was like a night of promos. Eddie Edwards is backstage being interviewed about how he wants to defend the world title every week in an open challenge. Trey interrupts. Trey wants a title shot. Trey gets a title shot next week. So we got Eddie Edwards versus Trey for the Impact World Championship next week.
That match is going to be good, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, that match is going to be fucking great. But honestly, I would have preferred them cut out like 7 of these promos and just put that match on this show.
Yeah, that's Impact, like after pay-per-view. They're nostalgic for like all these promos after pay-per-view.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair because like you don't want to give away like all of the rematches like WWE does. But still, promo city. But it all set up something, so it was all, well, not all of it. Some of it didn't set up shit. But most of it set up storylines, so it works. Like the Rhino, even the Rhino Hernandez thing set up Heath and Rhino at some point are probably going to have a match.
You're right.
So, finally, it's time for another match. Sadly, it's a Moose match. So you have a TNA World Championship match. Moose defending against Falaba, who brought out TJP with him. TJ Perkins, TJP, whatever. Moose retains. Nothing really much to talk about. Falaba was never going to win the title.
No.
1 out of 5 stars. But there is something to talk about after the match.
Holy shit. EC3 comes out of nowhere, attacked Moose. I popped hard because like they said in the promo before the promo, like a couple, like earlier in the night.
The first promo.
Yeah. They said Moose kind of springing about EC3 writing his own narrative, and EC3 was basically the face of Impact Wrestling for years when he was in Impact. So now he's back fighting possibly for the TNA World Championship. So that's exciting. And then Josh Matthews goes like, he's not even part of this company, which is really interesting because I told you this yesterday. It would be cool if he answered Cody Rhodes' open challenge, because if he's really a free agent.
The thing that confuses me with TNA, the TNA World Championship, is it's such a joke title to them right now. Like, they're like, Moose isn't actually champion. He just stole it from a warehouse.
Yeah, they're
so
like shitting on him.
If EC3 faces him for the championship and EC3 wins, what happens? Does it become a prestigious title, or is it still like, oh, he's not really champion, he has a joke title?
Yeah.
Because I feel like they're not going to do that to EC3. So is he going to like win it and then destroy it?
Well, I told you I think he's going to win it. And then he's going to fight Eddie Edwards down the road. Maybe Bound for Glory, because like that's their big next show. And like it's like the face of TNA versus the face of Impact Wrestling.
And then they can unify the title.
Yeah.
And then get rid of the TNA.
Because they wanted to do that with Pete Blanchard. But, that didn't happen.
Okay, so we're back to another promo.
Oh, brother.
The Good Brothers are walking around in the parking lot, it looks like. Ace Austin and Madman Fulton are in a minivan, and they start yelling at them and making fun of them.
It's true. You gotta forget that the Good Brothers started asking about the bars open during a pandemic. It's like, wow. All right then.
And then Ace Austin's goons pretty much jump them. But the Good Brothers are Supermen and fucking fight them off like 7 people, and then they all retreat, and the Good Brothers are like, "You want some? Let's go."
Go, Good Brother.
That was the end of that. That was one of those ones where they could have completely left that off. That was too many promos. Like, I think the Good Brothers had 2 or 3, and then Eddie Edwards had 2 or 3 promos. Yeah. It was like you could have just like condensed this and made it like one promo.
That's true.
Speaking of promos,
oh boy, this shit, man.
We have Rosemary and Bravo, and they're checking out a house, and they're being very flirty about it.
Yeah.
They talk about cooking, and Rosemary says all you need is a little pinch of rosemary, and Bravo says that he actually wants them to use some extra virgin olive oil, like extra virgin.
And Rosemary is just like, oh. When all of a sudden like Taya Valkyrie shows up, and Rosemary is like, I thought it was just gonna be us. And then Bravo was like, well, who do you think paid for the house? And
then magic ensues.
The fucking magic, I know it.
She just starts snapping and people show up. And then apparently this is all to set up a like Big Brother type like reality show that they're gonna be airing on Impact next week.
I love how they like fucking Eddie Edwards' wife comes in, like almost goes for Taya already. I was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah, so Crazy Steve announces that that Wrestle House is coming soon, which soon means next week. I don't know what this is gonna be, but it's gonna be some kind of like Impact madness. It's gonna be like on the level of like Woken Matt Hardy.
I mean, it has fucking Rosemary and Taya with Bravo already, so I'm in.
Yeah, it's gonna be very, very weird, and it's definitely gonna be something that's all over the internet for the next few weeks.
Oh yeah.
We find out that Reno Scum will face Good Brothers next week, and Eddie Edwards versus Trey for the world title is also next week. Woo! On top of that, Wrestle House, like I said, that's what's going to be on next week's show. The Impact World Tag Team Championship match, the main event. What we've been sitting through 8 hours of promos for, this match finally happens. The North defending against the Machine Guns, and fuck, this match was great.
Yeah, it was. They gave this one some time too. Like I was looking at the clock, it was like 9:40 or something like that. I was like, oh.
Yeah, this match felt like pay-per-view quality.
Yeah, I was like, oh, they're giving this shit some time.
They really should have just had the North have an open challenge. I think it would have been better that way.
That's true, but they wanted those views because like Impact Wrestling on Access TV was trending number 3 worldwide during Impact, and that.
Yeah, I would like to know what their like ratings were for this week.
Well, they said Tommy Dreamer said they had like 7,000 on Twitch at one point.
Damn, that's a lot on Twitch.
Yeah.
You don't know what Twitch is, live streaming service on the internet, mostly for video games. I'm sure you know what Twitch is. Though. Yeah. I give this a fucking 5 out of 5. I thought it was perfect. Yeah. The Machine Guns are now your new Impact World Tag Team Champions.
Holy shit.
The North's historic reign is over. But remember, Impact has a rematch clause. Woo! So we're going to get another one of these down the road.
Oh, brother!
And they even tweeted about it. They were like, we should do a best of 1,000 series. And Scott Demore was like, I'm down. So the head booker guy, Booker Man, he is down for a best of 1,000 series. And I'm down for a best of 1,000 series. If they wrestled every single match on the show next week, I wouldn't care. This match would be great. There's nothing else really to say about how great Machine Guns in the North are, but fuck, that was a great show.
Yeah, it was, man.
Despite all the promos, that was my only complaint. The only reason this wouldn't get an A, I'm giving it a B+, is because there was just too many promos that they could have condensed. Not saying, like, they didn't need them to take up time. I'm sure they did. They had to figure out a way to take up time, but they could have been condensed, or at least had, like, instead of doing, like, Eddie Edwards in, like, at, like, whatever, like, at 7:15, and then having him do another one at, like, 8:30, and then having him do another one at, like, 9:15. It's, like, condense them and just make that one promo. Like, it's still going to take up the same amount of time, but it's going to make more sense instead of just bouncing around.
Right.
What would you grade this show?
B+, you know. Like you said, too many squash matches. Promo was kind of overdue. You didn't need all of them. I feel like they could have give extra time for the main event. I mean, it's fucking North versus the Motor City Machine Guns. That would have been alright, but I get it. They wanted to fill some time with Heath, with the Wrestle House skit, which is alright. Then the Moose's shtick, but I would, like you said, I would cut some shit with the Eddie Edwards stuff. Like, I don't think you really needed the flashback of the night, but like I get it. They trying to like get those apps, you know, people trying to get those buys. I get it, but like I said, I feel like they could have given the main event a little more time.
Yeah, I agree. I think the main event could have more time. Maybe they could have added like a knockouts match or something. I don't know. Hype up Kylie Ray a little bit more, give her a match.
Yeah.
She just became the number one contender, so you could have had her like squash somebody.
Right.
I know they have the Nevaeh Havoc in the Steels Hogan match, but you could have like Kylie beat like Alyssa Edwards or something.
Yeah.
Some like lower level knockout. But yeah, it was a pretty good show. If you haven't watched Impact in a while, well, there you go. We did a Slammiversary review. We did a review of Impact. So please go watch Impact. We really want you guys to go check it out. We're not being paid to promote them, but we've always been historically...
If they pay us, like, Tommy Dreamer, how you doing, bro? Like, I watch Busted Open every day. I listen to it every day, so, like, DM me, man.
Historically on this channel, we've covered a lot of TNA. So I think it's only fair that now that we're back, we cover a lot more Impact.
Yeah.
We don't really see a lot of channels doing Impact that much, so... Impact, AEW, NXT, WWE pay-per-views, fuck Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. I'm Mr. Squirrelz. This has been The Crazy Show, and this has been
The Boss Pean. We love you all. Wear your mask. You guys be safe.
And we still have one more surprise video coming. What could it be?
Who knows?
Stay tuned.